Copy invitation. Hold on, Mark, I gotta figure it out how to do that. Hold on. It's gonna be, I gotta get into my email. Hold on. Hold on. All right, Mark, I'm trying to send it to you now. I'm looking. Four, 1, 9.
My sugar canister makes it great.
There you go, Mark. Hold on. Galaxy Note 9. Who's that?
That's me.
Me?
Julie,
Oh. Oh, I see it. Oh, so Mark's on both. You want me to,
Does that count down to the meeting, that 3 minutes?
oh, yeah. Hey, Mark,
Yes.
I'm gonna mute your other one. I don't want you on here twice.
I'm gonna get off of it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Who'd we lose? All right.
Can you see me, Julie?
No,
No, that's not a bad thing.
I see Mark now.
I have a camera on my iPhone, but I don't know if it's activated or not.
Oh,
But I
okay.
can hear everyone.
Okay, I can send you a thing a button to push that says ask to start video and see if that helps.
All right, sounds good. Your host,
sent it.
I just sent okay.
Oh,
Okay.
there you are.
Hey, hi guys. All right.
You want to start?
Does Nikki want unmuted or? There we go. All right, are we ready to start?
I'm ready.
Okay. Aaron, you're the chair of the first
Camera's
meeting.
on, man. Well, let's help him along. Get this going.
Okay.
Matt, is this on Facebook right now? It says a minute 22.
What I did is I started a live feed, but it's not public.
Because you're going to want to wait till it's public to start.
At 7 o'clock.
No, it is not.
It says it's 6:03 by my thing.
So
I'm not able to review my notes on the road. So if Mr. Bodkins or Mr. Richard has an opportunity, that would be very helpful.
Mr. Richard, would you like to run the meeting for Mr. Ivy?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
I'll go. Okay.
Are we ready?
I know Mr. Bodkins looks like he can. Ken, can you hear me?
Ken, can you hear?
No,
You can't hear anything?
I can hear a little bit. I can't hear Mike.
You need to turn it up a little bit. Can you turn up your volume
Well, you gotta tell me where that's at.
on the side,
Oh, boy.
I think?
Sharon. Galion.
Hey, that's exactly how I feel.
I came through my cell phone. I need some volume on this thing.
I'm gonna mute him for a minute while they're doing that.
Up and ready, basically ready to publish publicly whenever they're ready.
Okay, I'll just let you know when we're ready, Matt.
Can you hear now?
Sharon.
Huh?
Yes, I can hear it.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Aaron takes the meeting since he's kind of off the screen, so I'm gonna go ahead and open the meeting for Parks. And,
Breaking up really bad.
I think somebody keeps making noise. I think once Ken gets settled, maybe I think he's pushed buttons or something.
I don't think so.
Yeah, everybody sit still and we'll be able to hear.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and call this Parks and Recreation to order. I'm here. I would say, Ken, you're here. Aaron,
Yes.
Ken, are you here?
Yes.
Great. All the members are present. This is a special meeting of the Parks Committee. So for April 14th, the agenda has been posted. Do we have any?
We can't change the agenda. It's a special meeting.
Oh, that's right. My apologies. I would like to have a motion to approve the posted agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Aaron, motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Ken seconded it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved. We'll go right into on this year's freeze projects ordinance 2020-21. I'm going to defer this to either Tom or Nikki, if you'd like to fill us in.
We ready to roll?
Yes.
Okay. A lot has changed since we met last. Let me outline the reason for the new ordinance. I think there's 2 or 3 reasons for it. The first reason is probably best explained by what I think we know intuitively, but the data bears out that the first quarter of 2020 was a really bad quarter for the foundation. And so the endowment itself experienced pretty significant reduction in second factor that I think plays into this desire to reduce the amount of money that we are requesting for the freeze fund is the uncertainty of what kinds of projects and how much the parks will be allowed to be open in 2020. So bearing both those things in mind, that we've had a significant reduction, I call $1 million, a significant reduction in the principal, and that I'm unclear, and in fact, growing increasingly concerned about how and whether our parks will be open this summer. We'd like to have council consider at the actual meeting here in a little bit a reduction in our request to the Freeze Foundation. So I know everyone passed that, everybody was supportive and we passed that 465,000, but my thoughts are, let's request a significantly smaller amount, take care of what I would consider the three most necessary items, and keep, say, in a cliche, kind of keep our powder dry as it relates to the principle of the Freeze Foundation. So that's the outline. If you've got the legislation, you can see really what remains. And so I'll stop there. There is, I believe, section 3. There was a version of this ordinance that included a request for projects. So I'm not sure if that's in the documents that you all have, but what we really do is allocate 33,000 for the pool, and then really two pieces of, I think it appears as C in section 1 of the ordinance. Now that I get my crap together here. We want to do pool improvements and do the safety mulch at both of the existing playgrounds of High C Park and essentially call it a day. So that's what this ordinance does.
They sent both versions. The one that went out in their packet was the one with the schools still in it. And then they were sent a second one without the schools.
Yeah, I don't think I don't want to get into a detailed explanation of, but we'll answer questions about why we selected these basically three projects, and are recommending that the way it would work is that we'd only ask that much money, and the Freeze Foundation would only request from Key Bank, their financial or fiscal agent, only the amount of money that we're going to use. So it would keep the principal in the key accounts and avoid a further depletion of the endowment. So that's the purpose of the ordinance.
Okay.
Hey, Tom,
Yeah,
we had discussed about doing the roof on the cabin.
yeah, good point, Mike. What we're gonna do on that is use another thing that we've done without much fanfare is we made a decision to not spend any more money at the depot until things change kind of back to where they were or reopen, whatever words you want to use. So we're going to finish up the projects that we're under contract with, which are basically the finishing of the painting and the replacement of the windows at the depot. And then our thinking was to move the money that we were going to use out of the freeze funds, around 7,000 or 8,000 for the roof of the log cabin, and just expense that out of the it's a general fund line item. I'll pull it up here in a second, but that's where we were gonna. Those were the funds we were going to substitute to go ahead and make sure that log cabin roof got replaced.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up. It's a good point.
Hey, Tom, it's Aaron. That was my same question. I'm glad that we covered that, because I was going to ask, do we even have another year of life left on that roof? Because I certainly feel that was one of the 4 key essentials that you just listed. So thank you for the clarification.
Ditch that out. We were thinking about just putting it up on the old middle school property some night, like a bunch of high school pranksters, and then just giving it to the Historical Society. But we thought that was a little sophomoric, so we decided against it. So we decided to repair the roof where the building sits today. So that, yeah, all 4 of those things, as you mentioned, taken care of. Are we still on, Kevin? Let me see here. 4 minutes, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Can't hear anything.
See a lot, not a lot, that's not what it is. They're starting to see other cities that are already shutting down their pools. And so we talked a lot about whether or not to just turn all the money back. But that seemed to be with reference to the safety need at those older parks, playground parks. And if we get a chance to open the pool, it'd be a shame if it wasn't painted, and some of the repairs to the slide. I think the biggest concern that I'm hearing from the supervisor on this is that there's some cracks along the side that we would like to seal. Those cracks don't present a safety problem necessarily, but we're losing a lot of water out of the pool on a basis. So you can see in the ordinance, it's slide repair, slide painting, includes the mushroom, painting of the pool itself. Baby pool's the worst, I'm told, and the leveling of the concrete. When it says safety upgrades, that's what it's. There's a couple toe busters there in terms of settling of the concrete, so that's what the safety upgrades. That's what we're talking about. So, anyway,
It sounds reasonable.
so okay, just everybody on the committee, certainly one of the fun things about being involved with the city the last few years is being able to important improvements in the park. You know, so it's with regret that we're kind of deciding to pull our horns back, but I think right thing to do.
I agree completely.
Okay.
Yeah. Two.
All right. I don't have the ordinance in front of me, Mike. If you want to go ahead and we can get this through and get it to full council.
Does anybody have any other questions? Ken, do you have any questions or?
No, I really don't. That's about what we talked about when we met the last time.
Okay. Having said that, then I'd like to make a motion to move ordinance 2020-21 to full council.
I'll second.
Karen, go ahead.
Ken, second. All
Aye.
Hi.
motion carried. This will be full council then. Since there is not, this is a special meeting and we don't have, I'll ask for to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
And Ken, Mr. Bodkin.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, motion carried. We are, and I don't.
Hey, Ken, I'm gonna mute you now, okay?
Hey, Julie, I'm going to pull my earphones out. I got about 5% on my phone. I'll never make finance if I don't plug my phone in for a few.
Okay,
All right, I'm pulling. I hope I can still, guys.
okay.
Pass.
I'm gonna mute Ken.
Okay. Really,
I gotta find, who's talking to me? Mike, yes?
We need Todd Fowler for utilities.
Huh? Next
Need-
is finance. But I gotta get a hold of, I gotta find Doc.
comment.
Is this still being broadcast, Julie?
I believe so. Are you gonna be getting into the finance committee meeting here? Are you gonna be getting into the meeting here? The committee meeting, we got the committee meetings from at 6:20 and 6:40. I sent out the thing, must not have got, I thought I got sent to everybody. No, I sent it early, I sent it yesterday. Oh, I don't see it yet. Did Matt let you in? So let me. You're in the meeting? I don't see you in yet. You want me to send you a? Okay. I can send you a link. I'm sending you one right now. It'll come right to the top. We're pretty much on time, so we just already got done with the parks part. And Aaron's getting something done with his phone real quick. so-
No, I've got it up to my ear. You might be looking at my ear because I can't hear, so I can hear everybody just fine with it up to my ear. So
Okay, that's fine. All right, we're waiting on the doc to get in. Oh, there he is. All right, the doc's coming in. I'm gonna hang up with you now, okay? Bye. All right,
Julie, you might want to unmute her.
hold on. I got
hey,
unmute.
Julie,
Doc.
I'm sorry.
What?
I have a question real quick. How do I get this on speaker of this screen? I can't hear unless I got to get it on the speaker.
Okay. Can you just put your phone on speaker somehow?
No, because because the screen I'm looking at is everybody's picture.
Okay,
I've just got mute. It was on speaker until I plugged my headphones in, and when I unplugged my headphones, now that's why I'm putting it up to my ear because I can't hear.
okay, well, that's okay, as long as we can.
All right.
All right, I gotta unmute Doc Fellner, whoops, sorry. Okay, you're unmuted. Up, Tammy's coming in, so hold on, I think, let me let Tammy in. Oh, Matt let her in. Thanks, Matt. Gotta unmute Brian probably for there's Doc Fellner. Tammy, unmute Tammy if Tammy wants unmuted.
Hi.
Hi, Tammy. All right, they're getting ready to start the Finance Committee meeting, I believe. I'm not sure. Oh, there's the mayor. Gail's up there. Mike Richard, he's missing. I think I'm gonna mute him since he's not here right now. All right. I think everybody's here for the meeting. If Gail are you ready?
Yeah, if everybody else is ready.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd like to call this special meeting of Finance Committee to order. It's about 6:22, I believe. Looks like everybody's present. Dr. Fellner, myself, and Mr. Ivy. Okay, do we have approval of the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Fellner makes a motion, Mr. Ivy seconds. We got two discussion items here. The first one is a transfer funds, Fund 608, it would be ordinance number 2020-20.
Okay, this might be where the mayor comes in.
Yeah, I'm ready. I think on the 608, it's relatively simple. If you have access to the chart of it, and you have had a chance to look at the expense report, or which is the appropriation, you'll see that there is a significant amount appropriated under infrastructure. I think what happened is that both South Storm Sewer Project 3 and Project 4, and again, those are terms we've attached to it, but 3 and 4 are both in there as if they were both going to be sold this year. I digress, but there's a lot going on with Public Works, Ohio Public Works Commission. We're just hoping that there's money to sell and construct phase 3. Will certainly not be in a position to sell phase 4. So the request to transfer money from that line item up to the contract services so that we can have enough money in that line item to pay McKeever to actually finish the plan phase 4. So that's pretty simple in the sense that we have too much appropriated out of a fund that's in good financial shape now and will be all the way through into 2021. I'm confident of that. But stay on the stick, if you will, of trying to get the next round of infrastructure design that as money frees up along out from out there by Murray about where we're completed on out all the way to 6th Avenue. So that's that one.
So could I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Tom, so what you're saying is that the funds appropriated were inadvertently the combination of project 3 and 4, and therefore we'd be using less?
Yeah, absolutely. There's
Okay.
probably, you will, maybe twice as much inadvertent.
Okay,
Just say it, Doc. It's more like we both 3 and 4 were plugged into the budget.
I understand, sure.
I forget how many tens of thousands, but we need about half of that to build 3 this year. And
Okay,
we'd really, rather than appropriate additional funds out of 608, just to me, I'd prefer to transfer the spending authority, and that's what this does.
Okay, Mayor,
Yeah.
will this wrap up the storm sewer project for that section of town?
Oh, heck, no, Gail. It goes, this phase 3 will get us, gosh, I don't have it memorized, but it'll take care of that area from Riblet. It's more over by the Dawson Avenue side, so the Riblet and on out to First Avenue. It's like Murray has an extension there. It's that area.
Okay. Yeah.
But you asked the question, it's probably the least populated part of that southeast side. The reason have any much development is because there's no storm sewer. It sets in a trough, if you will, a little bit of a swale, or actually it's a big swale, but it's a low area out there. Then 4 starts to pick up First and Second Avenue and start to really move east. And then Gail, I know you're familiar with it, but the east part sets in a little bit of a low spot. So that next project that involves 3rd and Hensley and East Park, that'll be oh gosh, that's probably out into the mid 2020s, but that will be a big project. And then there'll be, my guess is there'll be one after that, which would be maybe 6, that'll get us all the way to 6th Avenue.
Okay, so there's 2 more projects coming after this.
Maybe 3, Gail, but it's there's every reason to keep designing and getting ready to sell these projects. I think issue 2 is, or Public Works, issue 1, I guess it's called now. It's going to have a bumpy year and a half because of the fact that it's supported by bonds issued by the state through that state capital bill. And it looks like, I'm over answering it, Gail, but we're talking about what they would call rounds 33 and rounds 34. And so 33 and 34, the state's doing its best to try to have enough money to fund them. But I think 33, which involves our phase 3, that relatively unpopulated area that's real low. That probably gets funded later this year, but I think there's general concern that 34, there may not be state support for that project. We may have to look at funding that on our own without using OPWC funds. There's a classic over answering of the question, but I think it gives you a good idea of some of the alternatives that we have. I don't want to stop building those projects simply because the state isn't there to provide us grant and loan funding. I think we have to figure out a way to finish what we started as far as those southeast stormwater projects.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Anybody else on the committee have any questions?
So this is going to transfer, not, that's the wrong word. This is ordinance 2020-20, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay. Do we need a motion to put it on the, okay, I'd like to make a motion to move ordinance 2020-20 out of committee and put it on the full council agenda this evening.
Okay, Dr. Fellner made a motion to move ordinance number 2020-20 out of committee into full council. Do I have a second?
Awesome.
Aaron seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, sounds like we had 3-0.
Yes, you did. You had 3 ayes.
So ordinance number 2020-20 moves on to full council. Next, we have a supplemental appropriation, Health Department, VITA, ordinance number 2020-22. Brian, do you want to take that, or Mayor, who wants to take that?
I think the mayor will be better on that one, Mr. Chairman.
I think this is, without trying to make light of a very serious situation, this is a multiple choice in terms of what fund that the unappropriated general fund dollars goes to. I think there are 3 options there, but the core of the request or the thought starts with a VITA Foundation calling the city and asking if we had some money to participate in an overall VITA-wide community effort to raise funds for preparedness for the COVID. I sent out today earlier, and I hope all the committee members and all council has a list of the things that the VITA Foundation is proposing that they purchase with these funds. The second thing I want to say is that expediency is important. And so I've been trying since the request came in less than a week ago, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday of last week, to try to figure out, how the city can respond and what's the if you will, quickest way to get those dollars available for them to draw down for the items that they need. So that's, if you will, the setup. I think what there's really kind of 3 choices. I think that we could, council could take unappropriated general fund balance dollars and transfer those to the health department, and they could allocate them. One of the only bad things about that, and I don't know if it's bad's the right word, but they met at 5 o'clock, and in order for them to receive the funds, they'd have to have another health department meeting. So that's option 1. The other 2, I think, I'm more in favor of, if you will. If you like the concept, I think the best way to get the money to the VITA Foundation is to take it from unappropriated funds and put it in a contract service line item that council has, or put it in the mayor's budget in that contract services. What I'd like to do is then have the money vouchered, purchased, drawn down for tangible stuff devices, ultraviolet decontamination, masks, those sorts of things, and have those dollars only utilized at the Galion Community Hospital, and any extra supplies would be warehoused, that's the right word, kept on storage for future needs and be utilized here in the Galion community. That's the straightforward on it, and I don't know what else to say. I should answer questions, I guess, at this point.
So this was a request by, just to summarize, Avita Foundation
Yes.
to have the community help Avita in the preparedness,
Yes, sir. Yep.
correct? So if it were me, it would be a charitable donation. Here, the city's being showing good stewardship and support for our frontline workers at Avita.
Absolutely. And I think when you hear, Doc, when I first heard, I thought, what in the world? We got our own problems. And then as I thought about it more, I thought, man, it's all one kind of big problem. And so when you look at the request, there's certain things that I think are easy to get behind, certain parts of what they need to spend that nearly $250,000 on. I think it's easy to get behind some of the stuff, and that if it's approved, that's really what we'll be talking about the foundation. We want to buy masks. We want to buy stuff that can be used by health workers or local residents that are in the local hospital.
Good.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, Mayor, I had the very same thoughts when I first heard that, and that you just announced, and I agree with you 100%. I think it probably would show good stewardship to be behind them and support them on this.
Yeah, it's I don't even know. We're all, I think there's I think we're all a little bit conflicted, but we're not in a position to question the people who are in these key positions of authority. They say we need it. I guess, we're in the trenches in city government. We should try, if we can, to support the local hospital so that if a wave hits them, that they're not standing there.
Well,
Help.
not only are we supporting the local hospitals, we're also supporting the citizenry of Galion when they're in need of this stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gail. So that's really what the request is. If there's, I think that any of the three places to take the money and put it, add the appropriation to make sense. And I don't have a strong feeling either way. I think practically it's we could either send it to the health department or have the administration, quote unquote, be responsible for the purchase orders and sending the actual dollars to the Avita Foundation. I don't know if council can do it, but I'm not sure if you're set up really to do it that way. That might be Thomas is probably on there. That may be a question he'd want to offer up thought or two on.
Well, I do think that the options that the mayor's outlined, the two options, one is sending it to the mayor's office, the other one is through Avita, both make sense. I've had conversations with the health department on this issue. There's also a reason to do it through the voucher system that the mayor has talked about, because there may be a possibility that Avita would be able to recoup some of the funds that they expend. And that system would probably allow that more to actually possibly get recouped for the expenditures. But I think it's council's choice. I agree with the mayor on that.
Mr. Chairman,
Sure, go ahead.
if you're going to do this, to me, it's either got to be under council's 5317 or or 217, I should say, or the mayor's office. And I think under practicality, it makes more sense to put it under the mayor's office so we can move expeditiously on this. The second thing I would suggest is to make sure that everybody understands if we do this tonight and it goes on to council, that we're going to have to pass that as an emergency because we need to move rapidly on this. I think Mr. Palmer, Mr. O'Leary will agree with that is part of what needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brian. I need to go through this.
Excuse me, guys.
That's a good idea. If any chance at all, them recouping some funds. What he mentioned was that's probably the best avenue for them to recoup any funds that might be available to them.
I agree, and I think sending it through the health department would just muddy that health department financial, that's already kind of confusing with the new line item and everything. So I think doing it this way is a little bit more clear cut and speedier, since the health department had their meeting today, as the mayor indicated. So I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to put ordinance 2020-22 for consideration on the full council.
I will second.
Dr. Fowler makes a motion to move ordinance 2020-22 on to full council. Mr. Ivy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we got 3 ayes, unanimous. It goes on to full council. I think that should be it on this agenda. Let me scroll back up here.
That's it.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Okay, Dr. Fellner makes a motion to Ivy seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned at
6:41.
Okay.
Good
I'm gonna- Well,
All right.
All right. Which committee's next, Julie?
Next committee is the utilities.
All right. I got 20 minutes to charge. I'll see everybody at 7 o'clock.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Is everybody here for utilities?
I gotta unmute Mike.
Yeah, I'm muting. Of course, I don't know. My wife might not agree with that.
All right.
Hey, Doc.
Okay, I'd like to call the utilities meeting to order. We have Mike Reichert, Doc, myself. Can I have approval of the special meeting of the agenda?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Tonight, we're going to be discussing amended utility billing policy ordinance number 2020-23. Mr. Mayor?
See you on there?
Pardon?
I asked if Nikki was on there. This is the amending the
Yes.
billing policy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's relatively simple. If you had a chance to look at the existing ordinance, the short version of it is we have the ability, service director, mayor has the ability to extend for 90 days a payment plan for delinquent utilities. Because of a lot of factors that we can do, but I think we're familiar with. I'm almost certain that we're going to need to extend that period of time to avoid cutting off people that we really don't want to cut off, cutting off people who, everybody has different language for this. None of it's very flattering, but regulars or slow pays or any of that. We're going to have, it's just the nature of collecting utilities in a small town. We're going to have that group. But what we're anticipating is a group of hundreds of our 6,000 customers who find themselves in a really unfamiliar circumstance. That little research, you wouldn't think it would take a person a week to get the numbers, but it did. But I think we would all be shocked by the run up in unemployment claims over the last month. Let me just detail that real quickly, mindful of the time. A month ago, there were 24 new unemployment claims. The next week, there were 770 claims. I sound like Andrew Cuomo here quoting, don't I? The next week, it was 775. The next week, it was 1,700. And last week, it was just shy of 900. So that says to me there are a lot of people in Crawford County, those numbers. We're going to have our share of those. And a lot of those people are folks who are working people who pay their bill, always on time, and rarely past that time, that may fall into this period of time where they're going to need an extended, be extended beyond 90 days. We're suggesting, as the ordinance says, out to 6 months to allow them to be able to keep utilities on and have a chance to recover as this hypothetical family or hypothetical dozens of families get their job back, get a new job, and start paying like they always have. So that's the whole purpose of the ordinance.
I think it's a good idea that we give them. The only question I have, Tom, after this is a temporary amendment, correct?
Yeah, well, I think it's in effect until you want to change it back. That's really how it's written, as far as I think. It's
Well, I'm just seeing, it says amended 2020.
Yeah.
So I guess that'll be the way it,
you change.
Mark, this is Thomas.
yes.
It's written not as a temporary change. That, but because we obviously don't know when the end date will be that you'd want to change it back. So it's written as a permanent change, but council will have the ability to change it back at any time.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah, we don't like the 6 month. I would say we, as in Nikki and myself, because people get they'll run too big of a bill and then they'll have to get out normally. The 90 days has worked for the last 6 years, 7 years, whatever long it's been. But I think in these circumstances, it's just going to be real difficult, and the number of new customers that are kind of knocked up against the rocks because of this epidemic. I think this is just anticipating, not to belabor it, but I would say that there was AMP members have been doing some useful things. They've been helpful to us. One of them is there was a chain email. It reminds me of the stuff that Thomas is able to get information through his law director's organization.
Yep.
But we had 15 or 20 communities responded. And what we're proposing tonight is probably the most frequently recommended changes. Most everybody has 90 days now, and the proposal that many communities are running past their council is to go to 6 months. So this is pretty typical what you see other muni electrics doing. Okay.
Anybody else have anything on that?
One thing that's
Oh, go ahead, Thomas. Tom.
okay. One thing that's not in there is no waiver of late fees. And so one of the things you may want to think about,
What was that waiver? What, Tom?
late fees.
Oh, late fee.
And the people who manage the office really think late fees are an effective tool. The mayor doesn't like late fees, so I wish we weren't imposing them. But you need to know that while it gives the extension to basically 6 months to get caught up, it doesn't waive the late fees. And so we may, I think if we make that change and give them a few more months, you as council members may hear, well, yeah, you gave me 6 months, but you didn't waive the late fees. So it's, I just wanted to mention that because I think it's,
So the late fee is 5% of the entire bill.
yeah,
Okay, so if they run that out to 6 months, that could be a pretty large late fee.
that's why we're bringing it up, because it's almost like, I don't want to mention a utility, but we all have maybe a telephone or cable or something. It's almost like they want to get you on the late fees because that's where they make their real money. But maybe I'm just talking out my ear on that. But I really think that that's the point, that if we another thing you may consider that, again, other communities are looking at, it's not part of the ordinance, but you could, is to extend for 6 months and then also put in this new ordinance that that late fees will be waived until further notice or something to that effect. I don't want to do too much on the fly, but it comes
Can
with,
we amend this ordinance right now before it goes to full council and waive the late fee until this situation is over?
that's a Palmer question, but I hope the answer is yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
I think
Mark?
that's,
I think
yes.
This is Mike. I agree with the mayor that I think we either should, however we word it, but I think the late fee should be suspended for now anyway.
I agree too. I think we should suspend that until this,
it's just an
until,
somebody who is being difficult with the office staff or with the service director trying to over negotiate, that having that late fee gives us a little bit of a tool. But we're going to be dealing with so many people who aren't who don't game the system. I know that'll piss some people off, but we're going to deal with a lot of people who've never found themselves in this situation, and so we don't want to kill them with late fees, huh?
Right.
Thomas, Palmer? Can we just, in that bills for utility services not paid in full by the date, can we put suspend late fees until this is changed back?
Just
Or
a second.
strike that?
I'm looking at that right now, Mark. I would suggest, just for the time being, taking out that sentence.
Just eliminate that whole sentence.
Yes, so there are no late fees.
Doc, what's your feelings?
I agree with the people that run the the billing department, that the late fees are a good tool under normal circumstances.
Correct.
I think I don't want us to forget when we decide to change this back in 6 months to include those.
Right.
So that's why I guess I don't like striking the sentence, but I would rather a modification that the late fees will be suspended, as opposed
Temporarily.
to erasing it and then have us forget about it. That Thomas, that's my only concern. But if the wording is too confusing, I'm in favor of your recommendation of striking it. How do you feel about that?
Well, the difficulty with putting temporary language on it is like this, the same thing we had with the last committee meeting, is tying it to a specific time frame.
Okay.
Temporary for how long?
Right.
So
Okay, Thomas,
yes.
can we just take the 5%, make it 0% until we change this back?
To do that allows it to remain in there, Dr. Fellner, as a placeholder
Good,
You know it's there,
good.
but time being it'll be 0%.
I think that would, yes, I think that would be good.
Great idea, Mark.
Okay. Are we in agreement on that, Mike?
Yeah, I agree with both you gentlemen.
Okay, can I have a motion to make 5% 0%?
I make that motion to change the wording from 5% to 0%.
And I second that.
All in favor? Aye.
I,
Okay. Anything else on the amended utility?
Yes, well, hold on a second. There's on the section, on page 3, on the financial hardship, we changed that to allow a extended time to pay without late fees there for up to 180 days. It says 90, and that wording should be read 100 and 180. That was,
okay,
I don't know if you guys still want that in there. That what used to be 30, that used to be 60, or yeah, used to be less than that, so. It used to be 90 days. No,
are those all going to have to be changed? The medical extension, the financial?
I didn't change anything in those. I just changed in financial hardship.
Well, why would that have to even change? Because really, this whole amended policy is hardship.
Okay, so we'll just leave that back at the 90 days, 90 calendar days, and the 1/3,
Maybe we should ask the attorney.
or ask Nikki.
What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make the 90 and the numeral match each other. Julie, as I have it, I have 90 spelled out and then in parenthesis 100.
Right, but they're talking about not changing it at all, leaving it back at 90 and not changing it to.
Oh, not even, okay. But the ordinance that you have before you
Mhm.
has that in it, so you're going to make an amendment to go back to the former version in that spot.
Yes, yes. Which I can do.
Yeah, so in other words, Mark, you're going to have to just say that you're going to amend that section under financial hardship to just keep it the same as it currently is.
Right.
Right.
So we don't have to change anything there, right?
You just have to put it back.
Right. You have an ordinance before you that proposes to amend that section. You're going to want to amend what you have before you to put it back the way it was.
Do we want to actually do 180 on that? We don't want to have the late fee start to accumulate on the 91st day.
Okay.
Right.
All right, well, then all you have to do is change the 180, or change it to 180, then the 90 part.
Yeah, you just need to change the word 90 to the words 180.
Okay. I make the motion in,
1/3 payment should be one rolls and spelled out. So
Oh, yeah, 1/3, yeah, that needs to be 1/6, yes. Good job, Nikki. Those 2 changes need made in that section.
Okay, is it fixed the way we need it?
Yes, I believe.
so just to review, in section 2, we are spelling out the words 180 and changing 1/3 to 1/6
Yes, sir.
spelled out. Okay.
That's correct. You need an amendment to do that.
Yeah.
All right, I make the amendment. I make a motion to amend section 2 for the spelling of 90 changed to 180. And the words 1/3 changed to the words 1/6.
That's right.
And I will second that.
Okay, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to send the amended ordinance on to full council for consideration.
And I will second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Ordinance
There's no ordinance for AM credit.
2020-23 will be sent on to full council. Okay, Tom, you want to talk about the AMP credit?
Tom will be right back, everybody.
I gotta plug my phone in.
And it's 7 o'clock now. I can start the other meeting on my iPad.
Julie, are we gonna need to all go out and come back into the other meeting?
Yes,
Okay,
sorry.
no, that's fine. I'm just checking the tech.
Yeah, I'm joining on my iPad now. See if anybody's there. It won't let me until we cancel the current meeting, so.
Julie, are we talking AMP line of credit?
Yes, we're at AMP line of credit and
I'll make it real quick. Hey, Mark, you still on? Are we still in?
Yes,
yes,
We're tracking revenue at the utility office daily. Maybe we should do that every day or under normal circumstances. But I've had concerns for a while about the erosion of the electric fund. We've been, I think, very analytical about all four of our utility funds, electric fund. If we have a 40% or 30% non-payment rate, that is going to erode our fund balance in the electric fund pretty significantly. Now, I don't know what the number I've been using as the consistent planning number of 40% reduction. And so if we have a 40% reduction in our payments to the utility office, we're not going to have a 40% reduction in power consumed. And so one of the ways we could offset the reduction in the 605 fund would be to open up a line of credit with AMP that would allow us to use their line of credit as a rate stabilizer. So if we have a $900,000 bill and we have a 50% collection, then we would have a $450,000 under collection. And what I'm proposing council really to think about allowing that. We don't need it tonight. We don't probably need it until May if collections are as weak as concerned, but it would allow us to keep the fund balance where we need to satisfy the state auditor. I think it's a prudent number, but it allows us to extend again a little bit longer period of time for all of our customers before we would shut them off for non-payment. We just did the 6-month thing. If we were to allow a large number of our customers that 6-month latitude, use some line of credit as a rate, as a fund stabilizer as much as a rate stabilizer.
how much interest would they charge us?
I don't know right off the top of my head. It's probably next to nothing now because rates are down. It was, I believe, in the neighborhood of 3% the last time we checked. But Mark, you will remember that's when we were about and we're going to use a line of credit to borrow. Then the other time we talked about perhaps using a line of credit, it passed some rate increase as we got that debt hump that we have over the next couple of years. I don't have, I'm, Mark, I'd have you an answer on the percentage if I was coming with a specific request.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Just curious.
The concept that I think I want council to think about as a way to avoid shutting off people unnecessarily and to get through the next however many months where I'm very sure we'll have see the revenue that we collect for individual electric bills. How's that for doom and gloom?
Peachy. Okay, does anybody else have anything in utilities?
For the, just a worst case scenario, if the financial picture turns around slowly, we would have that as a way not to get back in a financial crisis with the city.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn okay, anybody have any questions?
I make a motion to adjourn the utilities meeting.
I'll second
All in
that.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting's adjourned.